He was in the best physical health that he had been in quite a while. So this totally caught us off guard. So in arriving here to Philadelphia, he had been flown here. We knew that there was probably not a great probability that he was going to make it, but we were very hopeful. And Daniel's team of doctors conveyed that hope to us also. We know that they did the utmost that they possibly could, and that gives us such a great sense of peace. The doctors would stay almost around the clock with Daniel in the first few days. They never left him unattended. Even the surgeon and the assistant surgeon, they always made sure that one of them was bedside in the first few days. And I can't ask for anything more than that. I know that they did the absolute utmost that could possibly humanly be done. And during the course of all of this, they would always explain everything to us. They would always take the time out to ask us if we had any questions. They would let us be bedside as much as possible. They did not ask us to leave that often unless they absolutely had to. And they kept us up to date on everything. And as a parent going through a situation like this, that just means so much to you.
They knew it would be a very, very, very difficult night for 6 other of my family members, and they basically had us all go in. I mean, you usually couldn't have more than 2 people into the intensive care unit at once, or the critical care, and they just allowed us all to be in there with Daniel, and they just all kind of stepped back, and it was, at that point, was almost like they were saying, medically, he can't be like saved, and I think that's what they were saying. And we're a family of faith, so I mean that was kind of a strong thing. They were kind of saying, this is your time to come to amends with this, like say your last piece. And I mean, we each got to say something to Daniel while he was still alive that if I hadn't had the opportunity to say, or if the hospital had been like, well, maybe we just shouldn't let this go on, or we don't want to let them in there, because at the same point there was 4 siblings and 2 parents there, and we have a very young one, and they let him go in there by himself. They gave us each time with him, and I think that is something that I would communicate to the hospital, that is a very important thing. Like it's a process.
I think the most important thing for physicians and nurses and the healthcare team in general is to try to understand the pain the parents are going through in the suffering. And a basic message, my wife, my daughter, me, my child, although she's mentally retarded and in pain with surgeries, she wants to be loved and hugged, and friendship, and just someone being kind and understanding, and realizing what the family's going through. And understanding if we're projecting our anger or resistance, there's just a lot of anxiety and fear going on down there. We're scared. We're not sure of the future. We don't know the future. We take one day at a time. And, you know, my daughter won't be going to a prom or to college, okay? And, you know, she's in pain a lot. And we're up all night. We don't get a lot of sleep. And just understand, it may be hard to walk in our shoes, but just to be kind and gentle and understanding, and to listen. Listening is probably the most important thing I can advise any healthcare professional. It's just to listen.
I usually react pretty well to the stress, but it's taken its toll. I find myself some days when things are just really at their wit's end, everybody has a demand. Sometimes I just end up crying, you know, I just end up breaking down and crying because I think, you know, one more person can't put a demand on us. You know, they don't live here.